Shalom and welcome back to Code Searcher. Alright folks, this is what we're going to be talking about in this table. This video, the covenant with many. We talked about it in early 2014 and some of 2015. But I wanted to bring it back. It was on my heart. 2016 does have a stronger, by proximity, appearance than 2015. So, because nothing happened with the covenant of many in 2015, here we are in 2016 looking at it again. So I'm going to use Lewis's translated version of this table for this presentation. And then we'll look at the original table, which is here. It's some new stuff that I've found, and also the verses. But for sake of presentation, we'll use this one. Right up at the top, we see the Shemitah. It's written backwards inside this verse. It's also vertical. Right here in the blue, you can see the Shemitah in here, where the covenant of many is the axis term right there. By the way, sitting on the name Barak and of the land, right there in the yellow. But we have Islam and atomic in the yellow, making a close conjunction there with Abbas, and Kadima. Kadima is a party in Israel, means to move forward, but there it is in the plain text, Kadima. Israel is here several times. You can see it's about Israel. War is here 3. See 2, 3 sitting on the top of the word Meshephet, judgment. But also that Mem is also sitting on that war, the Lamed, the Het, and the Mem is war right there. Obama's name is in here several times, and once not mentioned in this table. I want to show you something with Gog and Magog here, what appears right there. But he is here, Obama right there. He's also crossing himself here on the bet with Mikdosh, the temple. The river's dried up, devouring fire. The United States stopping also in that same place where I'm going to show you Obama's name appears right there with Gog and Magog, is Ezekiel 38. But we got Mofaz in here, General Mofaz from Israeli military. Mofaz, by the way, is a Persian Jew. I thought it was interesting his name is in here. United States, there's a Brit right there in the blue, crossing over Israel with the Resh. But Iran does that also. Where is it? I'll show you in the other table. Just a second. Blood moon making an appearance here backwards, indicating that it's in past tense, I would think. Khomeini of Iran. Also Rouhani is the current president of Iran. You got Iran here. It's also over here vertical. Perez, Sharon Perez is in here. For the time I was looking for this, he was an active person in the Knesset, or the government actually. So his name is there. Netanyahu up here at the top with Ishmael, king of Babylon. You got Mars in here. Of course, Mars, if you remember back in the time of Siding Spring, that interaction indicating there was war coming. It's been the common theme in most of these tables. War appearing 3 times, sometimes more than once, in rare occasions. And when that happens, it seems that the Ruach is trying to show me something in that table about war. But here it is again 3 times, and I believe this is going to be tied to it. Also having Gog and Magog in here. There's Gog again in the same verse. Also the orthodoxy of Israel involved. Abominations, Obama's name again, running through here. Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Also Mars in that same verse in the orange there. Behold, the days are near. And I believe that's it. That's all he's got labeled there. So let's go look at the table, one that I had here. It's the very same table, folks. Just doesn't have his annotations, as you can see here. Let me just take you right back over here where it says Gog and Magog. As you can see, this is Ezekiel 38. And this is no secret. This has been exposed before. Ezekiel 38, there's Obama's name right there in the purple. With the word Nasi, or president, or it also means prince. But there it is. And I thought there was a place where Iran and Israel shared a letter. That may be another table. Indicating some sort of conflict involved there. Behold, the days are coming again. Has to be another table, but I thought it was interesting. Both America and Iran sharing letters with Israel like this and coming into a conjunction with the day of Jehovah, or in some Bibles it says the day of the Lord. But folks, I'm trying to get away from that after I found out what Lord was in this translation when they changed the name. So you'll be seeing me more and more trying to stay away from that. Israel, here it is, right here. This is a cool conjunction here. You've got the year 2015 with green letters here, sharing at Shen in Israel, with Rouhani with the Aleph in Israel. That's a conjunction of 3 there. But there was also one with Israel and Iran. I don't see it. It has to be the other. But I wanted to bring this back up, folks, because I think this will be something we will see more about in the future. Especially, you see the density of these verses. Each one of them are prophets. Hosea, on down to Joel. That's Joel 1. Amos, down to Jonah and Nahum, and finally there Zephaniah. All of them have a profound implication in such a small area. Look at the width of this to point out something really obvious. 3666. That's the beast there. Also 44 of Obama. 8964 is the center of that, but capping it off with a 44 there. So this one, you know, the Father put it back on my mind. We've got from the temple in Kadima witness with allowing the fire. And here's vertical, is essentially what this says, with the Mahdi crossing there. I did miss that, but I want to go back and, well, kind of show you, where did it go? I guess I closed it out, but I was going to show you another chart of the blood moons. And you know, some flack I got when people say, well, nothing happened on the blood moons. Every one that happened, nothing happened on the blood moons. And folks, you got to remember, they were an indicator. They weren't, you know, an omen that something was going to happen on that day. Just like the conjunction with Mars and Siding Springs. We got to remember the big picture. There was a sign given there. It wasn't the fact that, you know, we didn't see something catastrophic happen. Some people just get disappointed because you don't see something happen. You don't see collision of Mars, and I'm kind of relieved that it didn't happen, because if I was right about that, then it means the rest of it was right, which was we were in the middle of Wormwood. but that was just a theory. But absolutely, the conjunction with Mars and this comet indicating war was coming. We see that here with the Covenant of Many, the blood moons, 4 on the days of our Father's feast, holy days, where's an indicator? Something's up, something's coming ahead. And we'll talk about that more when I got Lewis's timeline up, which I really hate that it's closed out. Let me see if I can find it again. It was one of the last ones I did. I went through and started saving some of the PDFs Lewis has got on his site. One of them is a really cool chart, but I don't see it right offhand. I apologize, folks, for not having that prepared. But we will use it in the next video when we talk about one of these other tables. This is really cool. I started working on last night, which is the Illuminati, and amazing how it has 666 right across the top of it. But another one that I'm still working on and feel really excited about, which is calling upon his name. You know, it says in many places to call upon his name in a day of trouble. But here it is. We're going to be talking more about that. I wanted to develop a little more. There's some very important verses, and they cluster right through here that I want to get cited through here before we do a video on it. But God bless you, folks. Jehovah bless you and keep you. There's some tough days ahead, I believe, and we're going to talk more about it. It's not fear porn, but it's definitely things we've got to talk about. The rapture didn't happen, so what's next? Things are not going to get better, but you always have Psalm 91. Never forget that, no matter how bad it gets. So shalom, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Okay, so I decided to make this a two-part video and just splice it together, guys, and because I left out the timeline I wanted to show you, but here it is with the ease of doing a second video and just splicing it in. I can now show you this in the same video. So one thing I was trying to point out was the fact that people would expect something to happen on these days where we had a blood moon, as if something had to happen to make it valid. I always looked at this as the red zone, as a 4 stop signs where the Father is trying to get us to pay attention to what's ahead. Now, if you remember, there were a few comets in here as well. Hanukkah was in here. We had the comet that came through and broke apart as it came across around the other side of the sun, icing and Siding Spring, and then everything that's happened in between, you know, with the meeting of the Pope and the President, both occasions. I think the first time there was a crescent and star in the morning sky, and it was around March 20-something. It was when I was going down to Orlando for the conference down there, and I noticed that it was a day they exchanged gifts, so there was a crescent and star in the sky. That's a sign. And then everything else. The moon's happening on the feast days. You could read the writing on the wall. The expectation of the rapture right here at this point. This is where it was expected, really, between 2015 and 2016. And that was the best guesstimation on my part. Anybody else claiming that this was the absolute date was doing that on their own. I was about an 80 to 90% sure, and as it seems should have been less. But this is, and this is after years of looking for it around the same time every year, and it not happening again. But do I just walk away and say, oh, I just, the Bible codes are bunk? No. There's been plenty of other things that were spot on. This was a guesstimation. I can't speak for those other code searchers who was setting dates based on their interpretation. You can't box Jehovah in. It's what he means. So either through hindsight or through revelation through the Ruach HaKodesh, who's to know what's going to happen? This is not for predicting things. Let's just talk about looking at patterns. And here's one that's real good that Lewis has pointed out. He's got a week of days and a week of years, and he's attributed this to from when the royal decree went out from Xerxes at a certain day to the inspection of the lamb 4 days prior to the sacrifice right here. This is the Passion Week, the time of the cross, and 3 days after that. And you see the pattern here with the 4 blood moons, royal decree. This is Jehovah saying, pay attention. And here we are, the presentation of the stage, and then the midpoint, and then an appearing. And notice there is a triad of blood moons, not happening on feast days, but still, because it lays out the pattern of 7 and something happening at the 3.5 point. This, to me, was obvious as probably being Jacob's trouble, as some others have assessed the same thing. So this was the chart I wanted to show you earlier in the video, and just didn't have it queued up. It kind of slipped me, but here we are now. And these are things we got to talk about. The last Shemitah. This was a rare thing. It's only happened to be a Shemitah in the Tetrad one time, and you just experienced that. That is something that's never happened before. There's debate whether or not this is the 8th or 7th. The codes have it as the 7th, which even before we started talking about blood moons, we were looking at the pattern of 7, as far back as Sharon's death. The 7s were showing up. So here we are, the last 7, I believe, that we will be talking about. And 2022 seems to be in a significant year in the codes as well. So now, back to the table we were talking about, which was covenant with many. I just wanted to cover some more of this, read some of the verses here. Like I said, there's a density of end days prophecy right here, but we're only going to read this last one because of the amount of time it takes to cover all of this. But you can go back. I also put a link to the table that we were looking at that Lewis put together with the annotations. I'll put a link to this so you can have that to look at, just the sheer number of terms that are in such a small area, and that being 3666. Covenant with many appears like twice in the codes, but this number stood out as being, hello, look at me here. So here we are. And again, I brought this one back out because of the fact that 2016 seems to have a tie to the land. You see here, of the land, Israel, the Orthodoxy. We're in a critical time. Also, I pointed out where Obama's name appears. In this snapshot you see here, it's not there. But it is. Here's the same table. And so this is what I want to do, is follow up from here. And of course, this being the next day, folks, I recorded the first part of this video last night, and now is a new day, so kind of got to refresh myself on where we're at. Gog and Magog, I pointed that out. You got Obama's name crossing itself here with the bet, with Mikdosh, the temple is also here. Rivers dried up, the year 2015 down here, stacked on top where Mars is. But Obama, also that's America going through there with that olive. So stopping in the same verse with Obama's name, the long version right here, president in the orange, Gog and Magog, and just to show you. And I haven't been the only one to point this out either, and I wasn't the first to find it, that he is tied to Gog and Magog. But there it is, Ezekiel 38, starting with verse 1, right from the go. He's there. Gog and Magog, chief prince. You see chief prince, that's Nasi, or president. Prince or president or king, it's all in the same category right there. Obama. So, I think we'll start at this verse here, which is Ezekiel 13:13. Therefore, thus saith Jehovah, I will even rent it with a stormy wind in my fury, and there shall be an shall be an overflowing shower in mine anger, and great hailstones in my fury to consume it. Covenant with many, and they're a powerful verse that kind of takes you back to Revelation, what wormwood is, and we're talking about wrath, of course, but here is the kickstart point, I believe. Covenant with many, sitting on top of Barak. Again, I'm just pointing some of these anomalies out. Shemitah, we just experienced a Shemitah. Rouhani, someone directly connected to Israel, and you see there in the Aleph, he is. That's why I thought this table was important to look at again. This is something we may very well see. Here we are, Ezekiel 16:21 is where I'll be reading. Right there. This is where abominations are. And thou hast slain my children and delivered them to cause them to pass through the fire for them. And that's Moloch. And all thine abominations and thine whoredoms. Ominous judgment coming. Let's go to this next one. It's also Ezekiel 20:19. I am the Adonai, your Elohim. Walk in my statutes and keep my judgments and do them. It runs right there. And what was this little piece? Excuse me. Ezekiel 21:36, and it's a partial I have there, but we'll read the whole thing. 36, and I will point out mine indignation upon thee, and I will blow against thee in the fire of my wrath, and deliver thee into the hand of brutish men, skillful to destroy. And here we are, Ezekiel 29:1. It's for the most part, it seems we're in the prophets of it, especially the one Ezekiel. Chapter 29, verse 1, in the 10th year, in the 10th month, and the 12th day of the month, the word of Adonai came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Here we have Pharaoh, king of Egypt, connecting with Mars is in there, which is the god of war. And of course, when we talked about this earlier, last year, or year before that, it was a time of siding, spring, and Ison. And then the conjunctions with Mars, it was an indicator of war. There's that verse. And then we're going to go on down to where we just looked at, Gog and Magog. Oh. Ezekiel 38, you can see there, runs right at the bottom of that, where Barak sits. Obama. And then I wanted to come to this verse, and folks, if you wanted to see these other ones, which are Amos, Joel, Hosea, in that area, you could probably pull it up in the archives. I just want to go to here, just for time's sake, and this is Obadiah. Wait a minute, is it Obadiah? Yes, Obadiah 1:1, and start from there. In the vision of Obadiah, thus saith Adonai Elohim concerning Edom, we have heard a rumor from the Adonai that the ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye and let us rise up against her in battle. And then continuing on, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, and thou wilt dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high, and who had said in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, the imagery there, the eagle, America, and thou hast set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith Jehovah. And war is what I pointed out there again. War comes up 3 times in this table. So the stage is set. He is still a key player, and I don't know what happens after 2016 with him. But right now, he's still a key player. This could very well be something that takes place. This is all about the Muslims and Israel and the United States connected to Israel, which they're going to have to take us out first before Israel can fulfill prophecy. And they stand alone. We are not there to swing to rescue anybody. And if anything, we'll probably become an enemy of the state. But shalom. May Jehovah bless you, and I'll see you in the next video.